thinking that I was going to do this little experiment. I was watching Click Productions on YouTube, and he was doing something fairly interesting where he was having the rosters from where they last were people were last located, and was going from that standpoint. But I decided, well, what happens if you put all the all-time players and just put them at their last location with their best overall? And then you also update your players in the NBA to their best overall currently where they're sitting. So what would happen there? So I decided to play around with this, and I hope everybody enjoys this video. I just find it interesting, and let me know what you think. So I'm gonna let's look at the rosters real quick. I just found it interesting. I mean, you can look at the Sixers. The Sixers are pretty good. My son Matt, he'll be very excited that Tobias Harris is on the team. He's just going to be thrilled. The Bucks, and I'm just going to quickly go through. There's only one team and everything that I know for a fact is going to win the entire thing. And by the way, you can see here that the Bulls, they don't have Jordan. Jordan is a Washington Wizard because that's the last place he played. Pippen came back to the Bulls after he played with Portland, but not the other way around. So, let's see here. Cleveland. And you got Boston. I mean, Boston's kind of a little bit OP. And you got three centers. I mean, like at their top of their. It's just nightmare central. I can't imagine. I imagine they're just going to play these centers at power forward and go from there. But I'm not handling that stuff. I'm not handling how they're rotating the players. I'm not handling any of that. Just move these guys over, and I'm going to let the CPU handle all that. I mean, look at the Clippers. I mean, look how many small forwards they have as their top players. And Noah was a free agent, but I put him on this roster because that's the last place he played, because he had a good enough overall to put on the team. So I moved him over. And I deleted him from the free agents from where he had a lower overall. And just all you have to do is, if you wanted to find this roster of where I had this, my username is DavidB69 on PS5, and it's available to download now. It's called Locations, New Locations 1.1, I believe it's called. But all you have to do is look for my user ID, and you'd find this roster. Atlanta's a little interesting. I mean, Vince Carter, he basically retired as an Atlanta Hawk, so I mean, they're a pretty good team this year. Don't think they have enough to get through the Bostons and Phillies of the world. Miami could be competitive. They could be interesting. Charlotte, they'll get walked through. Tony Parker was the interesting one here because I always think of him as a Spur, but I forget that he played his last year in Charlotte. And you got John Stockton, but you don't have Karl Malone in Utah because Karl Malone spent his last year as a Los Angeles Laker. Which, when we get to them, you'll understand why I grimace a little bit when I say the Lakers. you can see the Knicks, they're a powerhouse. And here are the Lakers. Look at this. Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, Jerry West, Karl Malone, Anthony Davis, and these are like 95, 96, 97s, 99s. Then you got Kareem. Then you got Elgin Baylor. It's just the amount of talent, and you can see the lowest guy is a 91. It's just insane. Orlando, they got Patrick Ewing. They also got Dominique Wilkins. And they also got Mark Price and Sean Kemp. You forget how, like, some of these players that moved there. You got Dallas gets Dirk back, but I don't know if they'll be able to get too far against a team like the Lakers, but and you got the Nets. Nets are good, but they're not as good as like the Sixers and the Celtics and the Knicks, which is just kind of funny saying the Knicks as being a good team, but in this setup, they're a good team. A lot of players went to the New York Knicks to retire. They go to Los Angeles Lakers to retire. You could tell some of the places where they don't go to retire is like some place like Indiana, where you're just not getting the top talent there retiring. Some of these others is because the organizations are also so new that they don't have anybody that are coming in either. The Pistons, they're a solid club, but again, I don't see them being good enough to destroy anybody. They just got a lot of guards at the top of their grouping. Just hard to say if they have enough to be able to get anywhere. Toronto, they have Akeem Olajuwon. You'd think he was in Houston, but he's not there anymore. So that's kind of interesting. And you got Clyde Drexler, he's in Houston. With Yao Ming, Dikembe Mutombo, Roby Free, of course, John Wall and Cousins is there. And you got Spurs, you got Tim Duncan, Moses Malone, David Robinson, Ginobili. Got a lot of players, a lot of talent. You can see Al Horford's a little bit better player because he's one of those players you get updated. And this took me about 7-8 hours to update the roster the way I did, to make sure I got it just right and updated all the positions of all the players and put them in the right spot and for where they needed to be. It's rather tricky. It's not as straightforward. So it's like I pretty much hit 3 websites. I hit Basketball Resource. There's also an NBA 2K website that makes it easy to check what teams they're on. Steph Curry. They get Chris Webber. The Wizards, of course, get Jordan. I mean, you get Jordan with Russell Westbrook and Ralph Sampson. I mean, I don't think there's enough there to basically make him go anywhere. So anyway, from there, that's basically all I wanted to go over right now. Just wanted to do a quick roster overview, and tomorrow I'm going to do a video where I'm going to basically do a whole season and show exactly where all these, what happened during the season and who won. So until next time, this is David B69, and I'm out.